Hi everybody, Adrian here live on Thursday midday Australia time for the Life Mastery Show. So a little bit of news for you. I am not in Australia at the moment. I'm actually in a place called Minsk in Belarus in Europe, and it is 5 a.m. here. So I've gotten up early at 5 a.m. just to be with you because I do not like to mix these shows. So midday for you in Australia, so I'm 7 hours behind you. But I thought, like, I'm going to make the effort, I'm going to get up, I'm going to be here for this show because I'm really dedicated to it. So quite incredible because I'm here on a 3-day training for Skyway Invest Group. And it's been quite incredible. And we actually finished yesterday, late last night, and then we had a bit of a celebration evening last night. We had a buffet dinner and dance. And climbed in about 2 o'clock this morning after dancing, having lots of fun, and then jumped up and got about 2.5 hours sleep. And I thought, I'm dedicated to this, I'm dedicated to the path, I'm dedicated to supporting people on their journey, because that's what we do, that's what I do as a leader, that's what I do as a support person. So I'm just looking here now, I've got Terry on here. Love your good spirit. Yeah, thank you. And I've also got Melissa on here. Thank you very much for waking up for us first time. Absolutely. Look, it's all part of what I do. My show is called the Life Mastery Show. And just for clarity, is I don't tune in and do the psychic work. So if you ask me, is this going to happen for me or will this happen for me? I'm going to ask you to get really specific on the question. I'm going to get you to ask questions on the physical, emotional, mental, spiritual, vocational, relationship, sexual, intimate, creative. Where am I right now in that process? So what's happening for you right now? Where do you need some support? So if you have a specific question on something to help you in terms of bringing more life mastery into your life, then that's what I'm here for. That's the way I will answer the questions. So please do, type the questions here in the chat box. It'll come up on my screen, and I am in Europe, so if the connection drops out, just bear with me because it will drop back in again. But I am, several thousand kilometers away to be here with the show for you, so just do bear with us today. If we have any technical issues, hopefully we won't. Hopefully Spirit will just guide us all through that process. So if you do have any questions, please ask specific questions around where you are right now and where you want some support or guidance or encouragement or inspiration, and I will certainly help you with that. So just a little bit about Adrian. For some of you who may be new on here, I've been working with personal and spiritual growth and development for over 25 years. I'm a life mastery expert. I help people get back on track in their life and stay on track in their life. And I'm just going to check here, see if there's a question before I can you, because it's all about you, not about me. So you're more important right now than I am. So I'm going to tune in. When will my divorce and settlement be wrapped up? Okay, so once again, Melissa, I'm not doing the psychic work. This is about when will it be wrapped up? Well, what do you need to focus on right now? Where's your plan? Where's the execution of your plan? Who do you need to talk to? Who do you need to communicate with? Are you talking with your ex-partner? Are you talking with the lawyers? What it is you need for yourself to get that through. So I can't predict when that may or may not go through, but what I can say to you is the more you focus on it, the more you get focused with it, maybe do some creative writing with it, do some visioning around it, do a vision board around it, but also do the practical steps for yourself too. What needs to get done? Rather than just leaving it up to Spirit, what do you need to do for yourself to get things to move forward? Is there a conversation to be had? Is there a phone call to be made, an email to be sent? So just get really clear on that. So Mandy, finances and health. Mandy, once again, I'm not doing some psychic tuning in work today. This is about empowering you to make some choices for yourself. So if you can please be more specific on your question around finances, around health, then I can certainly support you with the question, the answer that will come from that definite question. Because what I say to people often is, in life mastery work, it's not so much about what you receive in the answer, it's how you ask the question. So let's get really clear on the question. What specifically do you need to work through in terms of your finances and health? For instance, finances. I'm here in Minsk, Belarus for 3-day leadership training with a company that I'm involved with called Skyway Invest Group. And it's all about financial education, and it's heading towards financial freedom. So if you're interested in finances, anybody, go to my website, skywaycommunity.com, and there's lots of information and videos on there. You can join up and be in my team for free, and then if you want to buy some information packages to help you with your finances, you can certainly do that. So one thing about finances, get savvy with it. What are you doing with your finances? Are you on top of it? Are you studying finance? What are you actually doing for yourself right there? And in terms of your health, well, I will, after this, Mandy, I will be going for a 4 or 5k jog, run around the park here in Minsk, Belarus. Once this is finished in about an hour's time, I'll be really clear on what breakfast I eat. I'll be really clear on my meditation. I'll be really clear on what I put into my body. So health is a responsibility, self-responsibility. What are you doing for yourself to give yourself more health? Are you watching everything that goes into your body? Are you doing your meditations? Are you doing your exercise? Are you doing your yoga, your swimming, whatever it is you need to do? So make a plan. I say to everybody, get clear on what it is you're going to do. Where am I right now, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? And then put your plan into place to be the best human being you can, to be the best person you can in terms of your health, your finance, your mental capacities, your spirituality. So it's about getting on track and staying on track and going what I call into or beyond that 80-20 principle, where you're doing everything in life at an 80% capacity. You're living life to the full. Because that's the secret to life mastery, living life to the full as much as we can. And I invite you to challenge yourself today on the show to get really clear. Get really clear. Get a pen and pencil, a pen and paper, and write it down. Where am I right now? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually. And if you want some guidance on that, go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and you can even download a free journal that'll help you in that process. If you want to order one that's already made, you can, and I can post it out to you if you pay for it. But if you just want the free one, just download it and take it off and get it printed or print it at home, and it'll help you. It's got 10 life aspects in there, and you can write a little bit each day, and it really does help you to bring you into focus. It gives you something to work with. So, and I'm just going to read Terrace here, getting ready for hip surgery. Can you tell me if I come out okay? I'm afraid. Okay, Terry, I want to share something with you about my beautiful wife, Arlene, has been into hospital a few times over the last few years for different things. And before she goes in, she focuses in on the journey while she's in there, and she only allows walking human angels to be around her, to work with her. Obviously the other angels come into the other realms of spiritual support, but in terms of the human support, the doctors and nurses, even the tea lady, whoever it is, she just, before she goes in, she sets the intention of everything's going to be well, everything's going to be good, and I'll be worked with and worked on by the best people possible. Surgeons, just come out of nowhere to be the specialist to work with her. The tea lady turns up who's the most beautiful human. The nurses turn up who are the most beautiful human beings. They're walking angels. Most people who are working hospitals are walking angels, in my opinion. They do the most incredible work on the planet. And if you ask and say, that's what I want in my team, that's what I want around me, and hold that vision, then of course the healing will be easier because you're less stressed. So take some responsibility to tune into those that you want to work with. Don't take the stress in with you. Do your meditations before you go in. Do your visualization before you go in. Get really clear on your journey whilst you're in hospital. That'll be my advice for you on there. And then, of course, you will come through. And obviously, depending on the healing process, what are you doing for yourself to heal? Are you taking the right things to heal? Before you go in, are you taking rescue remedy? Are you doing your arnica? Are you doing the natural medicines? Are you looking after yourself? A good, healthy diet. Get people to bring, good food into hospital while you're there. Because we know, no disrespect to the hospital, but the food is just atrocious. There's no nutrition in it, So get somebody to bring some good organic food for you to help you in the healing process. Learn to meditate if you're not meditating. So that's the healing process. And then if you put all those things into place, of course, the healing process will be better for you. Because this is about taking responsibility for it. So I hope that helps you. Holly. Feeling guilty about leaving my job, needing a new job, help. Okay, Holly, look, when people leave a job, yes, we all get caught up in guilt, but when you leave a job, what an opportunity to move forward into something new. Because right now your world is your oyster. You can choose anything you want. And then it's like, where am I right now in my vocation, in my work, in my job? And how can I go forward? What do I actually want to do next? Get clear, Holly, what do you want to do next? What's the next job for you? What would you, if you had a magic wand right now, what would you wish for? What would you wish for? Put that into perspective and then go for it. 3 weeks ago, I didn't know I was coming to Minsk, Belarus. I'm here in Minsk, Belarus, if you didn't catch that at the beginning, on a 3-day leadership training, an intensive leadership training with nearly 300 people from around the globe. There's people here from all nations. It was an application, and the company Skyway Invest Group that I'm a partner with. And it was on my vision board to get more clarity on working with Skyway Invest Group. Where do I come as a leader in that? Where do I bring in my skills as a teacher, as a facilitator? And then just about 2 weeks ago, I got the phone call to say, Adrian, you've been chosen to be on that leadership training in Minsk, Belarus, and you're going to go, all expenses paid by the company, flights, accommodation, and just absolutely amazing experience. But it was really clear because I set the intention. I want to go to Belarus. I want to be part of this company. I want to be out there bringing my skills in to work with people in terms of facilitated training, public speaking. It's what I do. I train people, and there's a space in the company for that. So of course it's on my vision board. It's what I'm focused on, and it's happening. I'm actually here. We just had 3 days of training, and I'm up here at 5 a.m. in the morning just to let you know again. I got up especially for the show because I love this show. I love supporting people. It's my passion. So what's your passion, Holly? Yeah. And how not to feel guilty? Go and do what you're meant to be doing on the planet. Tune into what you really want to do. And then it won't be a guilt, it'll just be a stepping stone. That job was here as a stepping stone for me to move forward. And now I'm on my path. What is it you do, Holly? Maybe, type in what it is you'd love to do. And if you want some support to get there, please call me. For anybody listening in, go to my website, adrianhanks.com. Send me a message. There is a calendar on there to book in for a session. I will be updating that this morning, so you can fill it in if there's not a space right there now. But if not, just send me a personal message. I'll get back to you. We'll set a time, 30 minutes free consultation to ascertain where you are right now. And then, you can book in one of my programs. You do some one-on-one work with me, and we can just get going and get you into that place you want to get to. Because vocation is really, 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 really important. And that's what I do best. I help people to get there. It takes sometimes a day or a week or a month or 3 months to get there, but we work with it until you find your vision. And it's so important to be fulfilling our life's purpose, our passion, our work. It's really important. So I hope that's helped you, Holly. So Vanessa, is moving home the right choice? Well, let me just tune in. Vanessa, it depends. Do you want to move or not? So I say, once again, I'm not doing psychic work. I could say, yeah, I feel it's right for you to move or it's not right. But I want to empower you to make the decision, Vanessa. Is moving home the right choice? Well, what's happening at home right now? And what are the alternatives? What's your vision? What do you want to do in life? Where am I right now in terms of my living, my environment, my home? That's the question to ask yourself. Are you content? And if you're not, then maybe it's time to move. If you are content, maybe it's time to stay. But make that decision, Vanessa, for yourself. You can do that. Maybe there's other people to consider in the decision-making process. Partners, families, I'm not quite sure of the situation, but, just tune in. Tune in and just go into meditation and say, is it time to move right now, yes or no? And ask your inner guidance, ask your angels, ask your higher self. And you'll know. You really will know. Is it time to move right now? I know for myself, I moved from Sydney to the Gold Coast 3 months ago. Absolutely, it was the right decision. Just knew it, When you know, you know. When you tune in, you know. And it's about tuning in and knowing what it is you want to do. So if you feel like moving, maybe you get a sense of, if you could, where would you move to? I'm in the middle of a hotel here in Minsk, Belarus. So of course there's people going to be coming and going, the cleaners and the workers, and people going, because I'm just in the lobby here because it's the best reception, because I am several thousand kilometres away. So I hope that helps you. Tune in, get a sense of where do you want to live, what's the environment, where we've just moved to the Gold Coast. I'm there for a limited time because I know where ultimately I want to be. I've got a vision of my apartment overlooking the ocean in a particular street on the Gold Coast, around Southport, and I'll be holding that vision. And in the next few months, you know, it's 6 months, 9 months, 10 months, I will be moving there because I know it's where I want to move to. So let's get clear on that one. It's a really good question, so thank you. Maxime, scared to go under anaesthetic for up, scared of dying. Okay, so look, Maxime, death is, you know, the fear of death is real. It's, you know, one of the biggest fears we have when we're into that 3D, you know, human being experience. You know, letting go and going back to spirit is a terrifying experience for some people because it means, you know, I have to leave people behind and all those other guilt things we have. But in terms of the anaesthetic of going under, I will say the same to you as I expressed earlier on when somebody was asking the question about going into hospital. Let me have a look. Yes, same. I'm just scrolling back through to see who's asked the question. Looks like it's the same. Same. So anaesthetic. Look, what I would say is, you know, keep your focus on the people going to work with you. The anaesthetic person that gives you the anaesthetic. You know, just tune in and say, the person giving me that is the person on duty that's the perfect person for me, and it's going to be a gentle process. They're going to look after me. They're going to care for me. The nurse is going to be there holding my hand. The people giving me the operation are going to be the best people on the planet. I'm going to be nurtured, looked after, and just focus on the vision. Focus on the outcome. Yeah, focus on the outcome and just hold it and do your meditations. You know, before you have the anaesthetic, drop into meditation. You know, be at peace as much as you can. Do the homework. You know, prepare yourself before you go. Practice the feeling of having the anaesthetic for a few days or a few weeks before, and do it every single day, maybe a few times a day, and just breathe into it. So that when you get the anaesthetic, you can take yourself into the sleep realm in a gentle way rather than in a panic way. Because if you have an anaesthetic where you're in panic, it is not so good for the body. It's not so good. But if you can have that anaesthetic and be focused, if you have it and release and relax into the sleep, you'll have a much better journey because you won't be fighting it. Your soul and body won't be fighting. They'll be at peace with each other. It's all about that inner peace when we go into hospital or any other situation. Can I be at peace when I have something like an anaesthetic in the body? And once again, you know, take the arnica. You know, day before, a few hours before, you know, pills or rescue remedy. You know, even if you're having anything done, take the rescue remedy and the arnica to prepare the body. And when you come out of it for 2 or 3 days, keep taking the rescue remedy and the arnica. Take them in little pilules. You know, I always recommend that for people who are having anything done on the body because it prepares the body, it helps the body to heal. So take the responsibility to prepare yourself. Be calm, you know, learn to meditate, to calm the mind. You know, because meditation is a great way to stop fear. You know, it's better than taking medication tablets, in my opinion. You know, so we got medication or meditation. I know what I choose. I haven't medicated myself for 20 years. I just don't even do Panadol. The meditation. And if you got a headache, you know, drink water. You know, you don't have to take tablets. So, yeah, Vanessa, absolute pleasure, my dear. Just. And Holly, yep, just that's what I'm here for, is to, sometimes we know what we know. We really do. You know, it's not about me being, I call myself a life mastery expert. You know what, most of the time, my expertise is about reminding people that they actually know what they know already. Because you know this stuff already. You know, if you close your eyes and you go into meditation, you go deep, you know this stuff. Oftentimes my job is just to remind people of the wisdom they have, of the knowledge they have. That's my job. You know, some things, yeah, I have skills up my sleeve that I've learned, you know, as a psychotherapist and trainer and facilitator, but most of the time, you know what you know, and I just need to remind you. And I've got this absolutely beautiful sunshine. You can probably see the sun on my face here. I'm just going to move back slightly. The sun is coming up. It's been up about 10 minutes here in Minsk, Belarus in Europe. And it's probably just 20 past 5 in the morning, something like that, and it's going to be a glorious day. But the sun is just shining on me right now, and I've decided to leave it there because I think, you know, having sunshine shining in our being and radiating ourselves is just a beautiful thing. So hopefully you've got a beautiful radiant picture of Adrian with the sun shining on him right now, and I'm choosing to leave it there because I love that sense of life coming through me through sunlight. So Lauren, I feel my spirit guide with me. I constantly get with like someone touching my hair. Any insights? I can't tune in anymore. Okay, so great question, Lauren. I really want to thank you for the question, because this is a spirituality show. You know, we work with it. I work with my Life Mastery program, and part of my Life Mastery work is to support people to get more in tune with spirit. You know, I say, you know, where are we right now, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? And when we tune into spirit, what I say is, if we're going to work with spirit, let's train ourselves. Let's do the education. Let's do the hard yakka. Let's do the work to really be there in that spiritual connection world. You know, being on this planet and tuning into spirit, but also, if we choose to, tuning to leave this planet, you know, in a spiritual perspective way, and going out into the realms of spirit to connect with our spirit guides. But oftentimes, what happens is the spirit guides are around us. And what I often do is, you know, when people draw spirit, oftentimes what they do, they humanize them. You know, because of the conscious mind we have, and because we're in this 3D body and we're on the earth, when beings are visiting us on this planet, our conceptual mind, when we image it, will image it as something a little bit in the human realm. And of course, spirits aren't human realm, and oftentimes it's very hard to draw a spirit in spirit form. So what people do, they draw it in a 3D form, like an angel form or a human type form or a face form, to represent what they're feeling or seeing and experiencing, because they haven't truly met the spirit being, because they haven't done the training, haven't done the schooling. So they still feel it and get a sense of it and know it's there. So what we do with our mind, with our subconscious mind, is we translate that, if you like, into an image. So what I'd suggest you is just to be with that feeling of that spirit. Yeah, Lauren, be with this feeling of spirit. Get some crayons and get a paper. And as you feel the presence of that being, allow yourself the freedom to draw the colour of it, the shape of it, the movement of it, the flow of it. Yeah? And just tune into it that way. And that will begin the connection process. And then I would suggest is, you know, checking out the sense of that spirit. And I have a great saying, some of you who are on the show regularly may have heard me say. My saying is, if it's not invited, it's not allowed in. So if there's a spirit presence around me and I don't want it to connect with me or be in my energy field, I simply don't let it in. I have a really strong, healthy boundary, physical boundary and spiritual and emotional and mental boundary. So if I want that spirit in, if I want to engage, I do. If I don't, I just don't open the door. You know, it's like three little pigs. Don't let the wolf in. You know, have a really strong boundary and only open the door and let things in that you want coming in. So if you want to connect with the spirit, you know, open the door and connect. Do some drawing, do some exercises, and then drop into your meditation. You know, once you have that image, you know, the human image of doing the drawing of the colour and the shape and the flow, and you hold that in your soul vision by closing your eyes and seeing the picture and connecting with the spirit, something may happen for you in terms of becoming a bit more conscious of the energy field. And then as they do another picture, and you'll see it'll change. It'll change. And this may take a few days or a few weeks or a few months or even some years to open up your spiritual eye, if you like, your spiritual connection, and then dropping into your meditation. You know, get some teaching, get a teacher. Like, you know, if you want to come and work with me, you know, give me a call. You know, come and do a 30-minute free consultation with me. I work with people to support them on that spiritual journey a lot. You know, I do spiritual guidance work, I do spiritual coaching to help people to get into the spiritual world, to see their beings, to connect with their beings, to connect with their angels. You know, to ascertain what is a healthy spirit to connect with and what isn't. You know, be discerning. You know, there's, you know, as we know, there's good and negative in everything, and there's great spirits to connect with, and there's ones you wouldn't want to be in, you know, 20 kilometers of. So, you know, do some training, get a teacher. It's like, if you, my analogy I often use on this is, if you swim, it's great to swim, but usually you have swimming lessons. You know, and then if you're going to go snorkeling in the ocean, you have snorkeling lessons. And if you're going to go scuba diving, you have scuba diving lessons. So you're going down into the water, because you wouldn't do it on your own. There's too much risk. So why would you do that going into the spiritual world? Because it's an inherent risk. You know, if you go over the threshold into the spiritual world too quickly and you're not trained and you're not guided, you know, it's easy to flip out. There's tens of millions of people across the planet in psych units who shouldn't be in psych units. They've just had a spiritual experience, and they're told by some doctor, you know, who doesn't understand spirit, that there's something mentally wrong with them. You know, they've been labelled something. But in many, many cases, there are people who've had spiritual experiences and it was too big and too fast for them, and they flipped out, and they didn't know how to explain it. Or if they did, the doctors don't understand what they're explaining, so they just lock them up and medicate them. That happens all the time. So get some training, get some teaching. I'm very happy to guide you. Go to my website, adrianhanks.com. Book in for a 30-minute consultation. There's a page. I will update it straight away after, so I'm not sure if it's updated, but send me a PM. Get on there right now. Go to Adrian Hanks' Facebook page and PM me, or PM here and Sarah will pass the message on to me, or just go to my website, adrianhanks.com, and direct message me from there, and we can find a time, and I'm happy to help and guide you. We can do some work together one-on-one. You can join one of my groups, but there's a way to get you in to becoming a spiritual student. Really, 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 really important to do that. So I hope that's helped you there, Layla. So it wasn't Layla, that was, I'm just going to scroll back down, that was Lauren. Yeah, so Lauren, just I hope that's helpful for you. Roxy, very cold and cloudy here in Melbourne, so it's beautiful to see the sun shining on you. Yeah, I'm in Minsk, Belarus, and for those that don't know where Belarus is, it used to be annexed to Russia, and then of course when it all changed after the Berlin Wall came down, things changed, and in 1991, Belarus annexed itself away from USSR and became an independent country in Russia. And this is my second time here in 10 months. Absolutely love it. Been here on a 3-day leadership training, and the sun is certainly coming up here because it's close to mid-summer here in Europe and midwinter obviously in Australia. So just go down. Layla, hi, can you guide me please? I want to purchase a new home and travel. Would all of these happen? Okay, so Layla, I just want to reiterate what I've said before, and I say it every time on the show here. I'm not doing psychic tuning in work with people. I'm getting people to get really clear on their life mastery, because the show is called the Life Mastery Show. It's about getting you into that space of life mastery. So Layla, what I say to you is, have you done a vision board? Are you clear on where you want to live? Are you clear about buying a home? Are you clear about having that finance? Yeah. And if so, how do I get myself spiritually involved to get these? So the best way, Layla, for me is get clear on your vision, write your vision, get your vision board going. And vision board isn't just getting pictures and sticking them on a board. I mean, it does help the subconscious mind to get what we want, but there's a deeper process, and I run mastermind programs, and in those programs I teach people how to do the manifesting with the vision board in a very, very powerful way, a very connected way. Being here in Belarus to do this leadership program is all part of my big vision. My big vision is to travel, to write and to teach. It's what I love doing. And of course I vision board that, I write about it, I have my written vision down, and I focus on it every single day in my meditations, and I hold the vision. We don't just get a picture of a house and stick it on a piece of cardboard and put it on the wall and forget about it. That's not vision boarding. I suppose it is for 90% of people because that's how they do it, but it's actually it's not very effective in that way, and people go, oh, they don't work, because they're not engaging in a fuller process with it. So I'd say, Layla, get clear. Where do you want to live? What sort of house do you want to live in? How much do you want to spend? And get clear. And tune in with the universe, because the universe is abundant and the universe will guide. And somebody said before about tuning into the spirit guides. The more we tune into the spirit guidance, the more things come to us. They really do. I've got a week in Belarus, all paid for, companies paid for it, all my training, all my accommodation, all my flights, everything. 3 weeks ago I didn't know I was coming, but it was on my vision board. As soon as I knew the opportunity was going to arise to apply to be here, because there was an application process from right across the globe, hundreds and hundreds of people applied, and I was one of 300 that was chosen. But as soon as I heard about the opportunity, I didn't just think, oh, I'd like to go, maybe I'll get chosen, maybe I won't, I'm not good enough, blah, 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 getting the stories right. Oh, okay, Minsk, Belarus, I'm going. And I meditated every day, and I got the images there, and I just focused. And I got my diary, and I wrote in the diary the dates I was going. I'm leaving on this date to go to Belarus. That was before I even told I'd been chosen as one of the people to be a student on the leadership training. So I just got clear about it, and then I got a phone call to say, hey, you've been chosen to go. And it was exciting and surprised, but on one level it also wasn't a surprise, because in my being I knew I was going. I'd already set the intention. So set the intention, and then things will happen. I was in Southport a week ago, and I was looking at apartments overlooking the ocean, because that's where I want to live in a few months' time. And I went into one of those show houses to look at an apartment that's not even been built yet. You know, you buy them off the plan before they're built. And I looked at them and I was talking to the lady for about an hour, looking at photographs that the artist has drawn, the artist's perception of what it looked like. And I went home and I've now got an image of the street I want to live in, the building I want to live in, and I'm focusing on it. And I know that in the next few months that'll manifest. It'll actually happen. I'll be living in Southport, very close to a street I want to be living in a particular view over the ocean. So that's where I'm going to be. That's the real estate. That's my home I'm going to be in. And I'm focused on it, and it'll happen. You know, we just moved up to the Gold Coast from Sydney. We focused on, you know, where we wanted to be. And one word came up for me, the word Genesis came up. And I went, oh, that's it. We're going to be living on the Genesis estate in Kimmerer. Never been there before in my life. Didn't know what the house was going to look like. But in my meditation, as soon as I tuned in, and the word Genesis was there, that was the guiding principle. And I followed that. And we contacted the real estate agent, and we just said we want to live in the Genesis estate in Kimmerer. And lo and behold, house came up, and we moved up there 3 months ago, because I was focused, I was clear. So I hope that helps you. I hope that helps you. Helen, any insights how to deal with toxic family who are just out to hurt me? Okay, Helen, I do want to say something really serious here, really, really serious. I'm not doing psychic tuning in sessions here, but what I'm going to say to you is, what's going on with the family? Because your perception is they're out to hurt you. So let's get clear on that story. Let's get clear on, what do you mean by that? They're out to hurt you. You know, is it emotional a hurt they're trying to deliver to you? And if so, how's it getting in? What are you doing to have a really healthy boundary to stop it getting in? Do you have to take legal action perhaps? Or do you have to have some mediation perhaps? Or do you need to learn to speak perhaps? Because if you go to because it sounds like it's bullying, you know, they're out to hurt me. And when people are out to hurt us, you know, part of that is, you know, I'm a victim of that, with no disrespect to the word victim. I'm a victim of that, but I'm also allowing a bully to bully me, you know, in that space. So go to my website and go to the media page and watch my video on bullying, because I don't do bullies. You know, if people are trying to hurt me, I'll either speak or I'll have a healthy boundary. And I just won't let it in. It's like the three little pigs again, you know, don't let the wolf in. So what are you doing, Helen, to take responsibility to stop being picked on, you know, to stop being hurt? Because I don't know whether it's, you know, emotional hurt or what's going on for you, but you can take responsibility to make it stop. Sometimes you might have to go legal. You know, if this continues, I'm going to, you know, get an AVR, you know, get an injunction on you, whatever it takes. I don't know the situation too much. But I do want to say to you, you know, you've got to get clear on your boundaries, not to be the victim of it, but be the victor and to stop it happening. Really, really, really important to do that. You know, you shouldn't have, you know, yes, families can be toxic, people can be toxic, but you don't have to let it in. You can find the strength not to let it in. And that, you know, sometimes it's legal, sometimes it's just mediation, sometimes it's speaking. Sometimes it's just actually not being there. My karate teacher used to say to me, Adrian, the best form of defense, don't be there. Just don't be there. Like, remove yourself, walk away. And that was the best karate training I had, because it, you know, it stopped me getting into conflict. Just walk away. And then if I need to use my karate skills, then I use them. But first protocol, you know, walk away, don't be there. So there might be some insight in what I've just shared, hopefully, for you, Helen. So thank you. Roxy, yep, pleasure, Roxy. Lauren, I'm just scrolling through here right now. I will do this, perfect, thank you, great, fantastic. Cody, that is so true. Lauren, I will, and thank you again. Layla, yes I am, thank you so much. How do I get into the spiritual guidance? Okay, Layla, how do I get into the spiritual guidance? So, if you need to watch this presentation again, if you want to watch this video again, the Life Mastery Show again after I finish, I've just spoken about how do you get into the spiritual guidance. You know, get a teacher, you know, please call me. Let's work together. I'm very happy to help you to work with spirit. It's what I've been doing for 25 years. I've had my own spiritual path now for over 25 years with what I call anthroposophy, which is just basically the study of the human being and spirit. I have my own guidance. I have my own teachers. I've been meditating for over 20 years. I've done meditation training, spirit guidance. I've written a book, Where Am I Right Now, on connecting with spirit. So I'm very, very versed. Been doing it a long time. I do it very safely. I don't use drugs. You know, I'm really quite anti using drugs to get into the spiritual world with ayahuasca and things like that. In my opinion, it's really dangerous to do that because people aren't ready and they take something to accelerate their process, and when they're not ready, a lot of people can potentially flip out and end up in psych units. It happens all the time. So I do mine, no drugs, no alcohol, clear consciousness in and working to connecting with that spiritual guidance in the spiritual world. Because it's a process. It's like, you go to kindergarten and you learn to sort of, play and write, and then you go to primary school and you learn a bit more, then you go to high school and learn a bit more, and then you go to college and learn a bit more, and then you go to university and learn a bit more. And spiritual training is the same. It really is. Like, I will not go out and see a spiritual teacher for spiritual guidance unless I know they've done, a minimum of 10 or 20 years. Because of my own level, I've done 20 years in the, of doing this myself. So if I go and see somebody who's just been working as a spiritual guide for like a year, they haven't got the experience. I know they haven't been there because it takes years and years and years, like it does to go, you can't get a college when you're 3. You can't go to university when you're 3. You have to go through education for many, many, many years to prepare yourself and to learn to get to that stage. And spiritual work is the same. It really is. It's not a... working around spirit is a serious business. It really is. And I'd say, take the time. If it takes you 5 or 10 years to train yourself to get into the spiritual realms and go into over the threshold and learn to go over the threshold safely, so that when you meet the guardians, the gatekeepers, you can actually move past them and you're not scared, terrified by them. Because that's what happens. People, they take something, go to the edge of the spirit world where the guardians are there to protect us from going over, and people bypass them, they face them. And, those beings are, it'd be like, I take people, I go to Africa, just to share the importance of this story. I take groups to Africa. I'm going again in August. If anybody feels like going on a 21-day journey to Africa in August, I only take 7 or 8 people with me. So if you want to go to Africa, you can come. But the story is, last year I was in Africa with a group of people in the bush, in Umfolozi National Park in KwaZulu-Natal in South Africa, and we came around the corner and there were 3 rhinos basking in the sun, and they jumped up and they charged us, and we had to jump behind a bush. But what we did in that process, 2 of the guides, because we always take professional guides with us, of course, professional guides who have been trained in the situation. Trained. So get behind the bush, throw a few bits of rocks at the rhinos, come out and yell at them and scream at them, whatever we, do to chase them away. But they knew how to deal with the situation because they're trained guides in the bush who know how to deal with rhinos and elephants and lions. So it's, having a spiritual teacher, get somebody with guidance so that when you do get charged by that, that being, you know how to handle it. So it's a good analogy is the rhinos that I faced in South Africa when I got charged. It was quite an experience. I'm just going to guide through again. Helen, we moved to Queensland to get away, apparently not far enough. But Helen, it sounds like you might be sort of running away from what I'm tuning into by going to Queensland. We moved to Queensland to get away, apparently not far enough. Distance is never going to stop it. You can move to Timbuktu and it's still not going to stop it because it's about a boundary. It's about getting clear. What is it they're doing that's attacking you and draining you of your energy? You have to get clear about that, Helen. And I know it might be hard for you. It might be really hard because I don't know these people. I don't know your story. I don't know your situation. But what do you need to do to hold yourself so you're not in the victim space of that? So you're not in the victim space. So you're the victor. So you can stand up against that. And I say it might be legal. It might be mediation. It might be speaking. I'm not quite sure of it. If it's physical, I don't know. You might be able to see on here, I've got the Blue Wren Foundation on my T-shirt. I run a organisation called the Blue Wren Foundation where we work with relationship education, men and women, predominantly men in workshops to teach them about stepping over the line in the sand, and having that healthy boundary and healthy relationship with people. And oftentimes what we teach is it's the communication process. What do you need to learn to speak and do to stop the conflict? Taking that responsibility. And if it's any danger to you, you go to the police, you get an AVO, you get protected, absolutely. But you have to take the responsibility, Helen, to get into that space. You really, really do. That will be, the insight I'd share with you. So hi Tina, hello to you too. So if you have any questions, you can hear the way I operate, the way I work in my Life Mastery show. It's about helping you, to bring yourself into your power, the self-empowerment. It's the greatest tool, because when you get into that empowerment space, when you take responsibility for your own life, when you get that self-empowerment, things change. You feel more physical, more clarity in the mind, more connected to spirit, more mentally alert, stronger and more connected with your soul. Bring yourself in. Who are you meant to be on the planet? Where's your future potential self? What are you growing yourself into? Who do you want to become? It's not easy work. I'm not saying this is easy work. Personal spiritual development work is some of the hardest work on the planet. Like I work with it every single day with myself and my clients and my students. Not easy. Not easy. But you have to make the choice and the decision that that's where I'm going. I'm going to become the best person that I can become. Now I'm going to share a little story. If you've got any questions, please pop them up, and I'll interrupt my story and come back to it. Let's have a look what's happening here. Okay, Adrian. There we go, Adrian. A little bit of an internet disconnect. As I say, I am in Minsk, Belarus. I'm thousands and thousands of kilometers away. I got up at 5 a.m. this morning to be with you, because it was starting at midday in Australia, but I didn't want to miss a show because I'm committed to delivering and being here. So let me just have a look at here. Tina, do you connect to past loved ones? Tina, yes, I do, but I'm not doing that on the show. I'm not doing the psychic work when I'm bringing messages through from the other side for people. There's enough people on the show doing that, and it's not what I do. If you want that, there's lots more people on the spiritual directory shows doing that and tuning. But what I'd say to you is, you can do it too as well, through your meditations, learning to connect with the people of past earth if you choose to, but go and get some training ready, get some professional, training with somebody who understands how to do that connecting. And it takes time. It does take time to, some people just have that, natural ability. They learn it when they're a child, and as an adult they take it into a profession. But if you just want to do it yourself, get the training so you can ascertain and be safe about what beings you allow into your energy field. Because as we say, there's dark and light everywhere. You don't want things coming in that are going to mess with your psyche. It needs to be clear, But like the three little pigs, don't let the wolf in unless you know who's at the door. If it's not invited, don't let it in. So you can certainly tune in. If I want to use my psychic abilities, of course I can. If I'm in a space and there's beings around, I can tune in and sense and let people know what they are. But it's not what I choose to do in my profession. I'm more of the sort of the psychology and the coaching side of things. I'm a psychotherapist, not a psychologist by any means, but a psychotherapist and a coach and a trainer. And that's how I support people getting their empowerment to make those choices for themselves. So, spreading untrue rumours. Okay, so it might be a legal thing, Helen. You might have to go legal on it, because that's actually illegal to do that. Slander is actually illegal, so you might have to go legal. I would suggest have a conversation with somebody, go get some legal advice, and find out what that is. And if you've got evidence of that, Facebook writings, emails, or whatever's going on, follow that through, and get into your power. Stop that happening. Get a healthy boundary up, because that's your self-responsibility to do that. I can never tune into meditation or spirit world. I just never have the time, and I'm constantly running around. Yeah, Layla, it's about making the choice, giving yourself 10 minutes every day and starting the practice, making it a priority. If this is what you want to do, make it a priority. Everybody can find 10 minutes in the day, everybody. How many hours you spend on Facebook, how many times do you spend doing things where you could actually be just doing some study, get some spiritual books, get a coach, spend 1 hour a week on a coach for the next 12 months. Or join a group, and I run mastermind groups. I've got my life mastery programs. I've got lots of things, but it's about the choice. Are you dedicated enough to actually want to do it? It's like when you want to drive a car. Are you dedicated enough to go and do the driving lessons? Go and have 10 lessons at $60-70 an hour, whatever it is. Having the money, having the time, having the energy, and then if you get a driving instructor and you pay the driving instructor, You know, you learn how to, you know, put your foot on the brake and the clutch and change gear if it's a gear car, and get on the road and drive and stop at traffic lights. But you get trained. You know, the driving instructor instructs you or us to drive a car, and when it's complete, you know, you get your L plates. In Australia, you know, it's a year or two on your L plates, what I think is a year, and then you get your P plates, your provisional plates, because you're not quite ready. You know, you're still a student, and that's a year or two, depending on what state you're in. And then after, you know, 3 years now and lots of practice, they take them away and you get your full license. Well, spiritual work is the same. You get your L plates, get your P plates, and it takes a minimum of 2 or 3 years to really then, I think, you know, call oneself a spiritualist rather than a, you know. And you move away from being a spiritual student, if we ever move away from being a student. I don't think we do, but in terms of the analogy I'm using, you know, get your L plates, you know, get a teacher, then get your P plates and stay with the teacher. And when you're ready, still stay with the teacher. You know, I've got spiritual teachers I've been with, you know, physically and non-physically for 25 years now, and have my path, the path of anthroposophy, which is following Rudolf Steiner, which I've done for 25 years. So I'm very versed in this. That's half my life. Dedicated to the path of spirituality. One path. Because then if I'm on one path, I can deepen and deepen and deepen. If I keep jumping paths, I'm only ever going to stay at first base, because I'm just relearning the basics of any religion or any spirituality. Because it takes a year or two just to understand the text and the language and the layout and the focus of whatever that religion or spiritual path brings. So it's, you know, if you keep jumping around, you're only ever going to stay at first base. But if you stay on one path for many years, it gets deeper and deeper, because you go down, you know, a rabbit hole, and it's a pretty amazing journey. Yeah, Roxy, any idea about staying in the neo? Yep. Go to my website, adrianhanks.com, go to the shop, have a look, download the journal, and staying in the know is all about being present. So asking yourself the question, where am I right now? Physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually. Here's a little exercise for everybody to do. Get your phone, go to the alarms in the clock, set it for on the hour every hour, between say 7 a.m. and 7 p.m. And when you hear the beep beep going off, you ask yourself, where am I right now, physically, emotionally, mentally, and spiritually? And if you're not in alignment, if you're not living the 80-20 principle in that moment, or the 90-10 principle in that moment, and life is not brilliant at that moment, if you're not on track in that moment, if you're not in alignment in that moment, you have a choice to bring yourself back in again, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, and whatever realm. You may have to, you know, do something to bring yourself back in, but at least you're going to get a reminder 10 or 12 times a day to begin with, to practice that. So yeah, use the exercise, where am I right now? That will be the answer to that, Roxy. And that'll give you a practice run on the hour every hour for a couple of minutes to bring yourself back into presence. Because most of the time we're in projection, we're in reaction, we're in judgment, we're in fear, we're in doubt. If we're not doing the exercise about being consciously present, about, you know, taking all those things out of our mind, out of our soul. Because 95% of the planet is how the planet operates with human beings. You know, constantly not in the present, because they're in projection, reaction, judgment, fear, doubt, place of self-hatred, you know, lack of self-love. So we have to practice being present. So one exercise is on the hour, every hour, beep, beep, where am I right now? Okay, I'm out of alignment, bring myself back in. And then, of course, meditation, you know, and not putting rubbish in our body. It's hard to stay present when there's, you know, rubbish in your body, you know, really, you know, prescribed and non-prescribed drugs, you know, that they mess with us, you know, alcohol messes with us. You know, junk food messes with us. It stops us from being present. So, you know, taking responsibility for ourselves physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually will help you to stay present, Roxy. So I hope that really helps you. And if you want some support in that, you know, go to my website, adrianhanks.com, send me a message. Let's have a contact. I'll give you a 30-minute consultation to ascertain where you are right now. And then come and do some work with me from a coaching perspective if you want to. And I'll teach you how to stay present, teach you how to meditate, teach you how to journey, teach you how to make a vision, teach you how to plan, teach you how to get on track in life and get more out of life. It's what I do. So please, you know, use that resource and come and spend some time, energy and money, and actually just choose to be there. But the responsibility starts with you to do that. Cody, can you put your page after the live? I'm on the Gold Coast. Yeah. So go to adrianhanks.com, Hanks, think of Tom Hanks, adrianhanks.com. Yep. And you can also get at Adrian Hanks on Facebook. But if you also want to connect with me and you can't do that, just type on here in the spiritual directory page, send a message, and Sarah will get that message to me anyway, because she's absolutely a wonderful human being, and we'll follow through that. But adrianhanks.com or Adrian Hanks, you can do that and connect me, or just give a message to Sarah on here and she'll get it to me. Which groups can I join for this? For what, Sarah? Is that spiritual development? Well, look, contact me, Layla, and I can certainly help you. I'm on the Gold Coast. I run a mastermind program. I've got my life mastery program to do one-on-one work, and there's also some spiritual groups. Look, there's some great spiritual, like anything, depending on who's teaching and who's running things. Do your due diligence, check them out, make sure that they have their credentials. For me, I won't go and do spiritual work with people unless they've got at least 20 years of experience, because they have to be beyond where I'm at. Because I want to learn from them. So it's pointless for me going to somebody who's probably only been around for a couple of years, because I've been doing it for 25 years, and they're still going to be at the early stages. Because that's just the reality. There's primary school, the kindy, primary school, high school, college, university. You have to know where to place yourself in terms of that analogy, and then find the teacher that's above that if you want true learning. That's my belief system, and it's what I do. So choose your teacher carefully, and go and do that. But yeah, contact me, Layla, if you wish to, and we can have a conversation. And how do you know you are out of presence? Well, well, most people are out of presence most of the time. That's the reality, and that's why this planet's in such a bloody disarray. Excuse my swearing, but it's because people aren't present. People are in conflict. They're in reaction. They're in judgment. They're in fear, doubt, and conflict is a massive one for human beings. We're constantly in and out of conflict with each other as humans. We're in sympathy, then we're in antipathy. We're in conflict, we're in love, and it just goes on all the time. And until we learn to do the personal spiritual development work, to work with each other on a deeper level, a deeper soul level, without that conflict, we're not present. Because as soon as there's a conflict, we go into fight or flight or freeze. You've probably heard of that. Most people have heard of that. Their basic understanding of what happens when we're in conflict. We go into fight or flight, or we freeze. And as soon as we're in one of those spaces, we're not present. But when we learn to stay present, and we're not a victim of something, and we're not a bully of something, and we can connect on that deeper spiritual level, then we're present. I can communicate you in a presence way when I'm not in fight, flight mode, when I'm not in frozen mode, when I'm not reacting and projecting and judging and living in fear or doubt, or not loving myself. So it takes practice to being present. And when you understand what presence is, then you're present. So it's like, I'm present right now. I'm absolutely 150% present with you right now. Because before I came on, I did a brief meditation, and I tuned myself in. I came out of sleep. I had like 2.5 hours sleep. I went to bed at 2 o'clock this morning, because we had been training for 3 days, from morning until way beyond midnight. It's a long days, deep study, leadership training, with a master. Andre Havato, who's the CEO of the Skyway Invest Group, who I'm here with, is a master. He's been doing for like 25, 30 years. An absolute master of what he's delivering. So I choose to work with him because he can teach me something. He teaches me about financial literacy and financial freedom. That's what Skyway Invest Group is. And I'm a partner in the company, and I've chosen to work with him because he's a master. So getting really clear on that. Getting really clear. So I'm present. I was in 3 days of training, and I was present in there. I get up in the morning. I'm staying in a hotel in Minsk, opposite this beautiful park. I've actually got my runners on now and my running shoes, and I'll go and do a 4 or 5k run. I'll do a meditation with the sun this morning. I'll have a really good breakfast, and I'm ready for the training. I'm present for the training. There's no alcohol in my system. There's no drugs in my system. There's no negative thoughts in my system, because I'm preparing. And then I'm present. That's how I know I'm present, because there's nothing stopping me being present. There's nothing in the way. If there's something going on in my mind, I go and deal with it. I write it out. I go and talk to whoever I need to talk to if I need to do the communication. And then I know I'm present, because I don't impede my presence by having things to get in the way. I try to remove the blocks so that I can stay present. And that's, that's discipline. You need to be disciplined every single day to be present. I also do journaling, so go to my website, adrianhanks.com, download the free journal, or just order one, and I'll post it actually when I get back in a few days from Minsk, and do the journaling. Ascertain where you are each day. The journal I've developed, the 10 aspects of life journal, will help you to stay present, because you can say, what did I do today? Physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually, creatively, sexually, intimately, and all the other realms. And then you can work out where you were not present in those aspects, and then the following day you can do a bit to be more present. And then you can start living that 80-20 principle. 80% present, 80% here, 80% living life. And 20%, work in progress. And then you can go to 90-10, and then you can go to 91-9, and then 92-8 and 93-7. And each few months or each year it's another bit more closer to that sense of human perfection. I don't think we ever become human perfection, because that's part of being human, is working with the growth all the time. And but it's really important to focus on it. So that I hope that answers your question. And how do you stay present? Well, you practice and you bring in the tools to help you to be present. So any more questions out there? I love this show. I love actually bringing some life mastery insights for you all. And I'm just going to check in here where we're at. It's 5:57 a.m. Minsk, Belarus in Europe. So I've got a couple more minutes left on the show. It's nearly there'll be 1 o'clock in the afternoon in Australian Eastern Standard Time. So it's been an amazing thing to get up at for a 5 a.m. show instead of a midday show, because I'm in Europe. But it was really, really worth it, because I really want to be there to support you. My biggest love of the work is when I see the change in people. People come to me and we work together, and in a few hours, days, weeks, months, the changes that people have in their lives from doing the work. Vision, plan, and then action. Create the vision, create the plan, and then create the action. So, whatever stage you're in now, create the vision for yourself. Well, how do you want to be in your life? Where am I right now, physically, emotionally, mentally, spiritually? Create the vision. Then we can work together to put the plan into place. What steps do I need to take? Do I need to learn to meditate, go on a different diet, change my job, change where I live, look at my relationship, look at my sexuality, look at my intimacy, whatever it is, and then put it into action and action that plan. And then the changes happen. But not much changes, let's be serious, not much changes unless you have the vision, unless you do the planning, unless you actually take action. I know lots of people who have the same old story: this is not happening, this is not happening, this is not happening. I say, what are you doing about it? Have you got a coach, Have you got a coach? Have you got a coach? Are you working with it? Are you looking at your blockages, your doubts, your fears? Are you moving forward in your life? Or are you just telling the same old story? Seriously, are you telling the same old story? I'm still stuck in the same place. Been stuck there for, many years or many incarnations. So if you're ready to take action, call me. Let's have a conversation and let's move forward. And I'm happy to support you. So adrianhanks.com is the website. Send me messages, connect up, and we will move forward, and we will get you into life. Don't you worry. So I'm going to close up in a second. I'm going to finish up here. I'm going to go for a jog around this beautiful park in Minsk, Belarus. Going to do 4 or 5k run, do a meditation, come back, have breakfast, and then we're actually heading out to the technology park, where they make all the transport system for Skyway, which is the transport systems that we actually support through our global crowdfunding group. And if you want to come on board and share that global journey with me, you can also check out skywaycommunity.com and have a look at the videos and connect up there. But do connect. Love connecting with people, love supporting people, and love to get people on track in their life and helping them to stay on track and becoming the best person, best being that they can actually be on this planet, so that they can actually help to bring this consciousness forward in humanity. So I'm going to end on that note. I want to thank you all for being here, thank you for tuning in to Adrian right across the other side of the world. If you're in Australia, I don't know if there's anybody in Belarus listening in right now. Maybe there is. Maybe some of the 300 people that were doing the leadership training with me were up early. I don't think so, because the hotel lobby is very quiet. I'm actually the only person in the lobby right now, apart from a couple of staff members. So, gonna love you and leave you. Yeah, thank you to Anne-Marie. Thank you to everybody else. And I'll be on again. I've just lost contact again. Internet. There we go, back again. So I'll be back again next Thursday, midday Australia time. Love and blessings to you all, and go and do some homework and tune in and bring in more presents. Thank you. See you.